Okay, hush-a-bub, hush-a-bub.
Andrew,
hush-a-bub.
hey, what are you doing? You got a baby? Did you have another baby? Or what is it?
No, I did not have another baby. I found it at the fire station over there. Someone just left it outside.
Oh, Andrew, are you going to raise this thing?
I don't know. I don't even remember how to take care of a baby.
Oh, well, I think with the three of us together, myself and Adam and you, all having been parents, I think we could give some pretty good parenting advice. Yeah. What was the song again?
All right.
Oh, he's girthy.
Soaking wet. Ooh, baby boo. Baby boo.
We're getting big, our worries are mixed. Let's have some cake while the Grawlix sing. We're getting big, our worries are mixed. Let's have some cake while the Grawlix sing. We're getting big, our worries are mixed. Let's have some cake while the Grawlix sing.
When life gives you lemons, make lemonade. But when life gives you lemonade, question the source. Because my neighbor Damon used to always set up lemonade stands and then spit in the lemonade. This is the Grawlix Saves the World. My name's Adam Caton Holland.
My name is Ben Roy.
And I'm Andrew Orville.
Is that? Go ahead and say the rest real quick. Just tell them what the podcast is about.
This is a podcast about bettering your world.
Okay, great, Adam. Now, I have questions here real quick.
Go ahead.
Is this true? Did this kid actually do this?
That's so gross. Is this true?
So true. This was a tortured kid. I would say he was my enemy growing up. He was a weirdo. And he told me, he's like, what I like to do when I set up a lemonade stand is I spit in there and nobody knows. And I was like, I'm going to tell the whole world on a podcast in 25
years from now.
Oh, wow.
Damon is now an investment broker.
Yes, seriously. Damon's now worth 50 mil.
In Chicago.
Yeah.
He was so
exactly.
weird. He moved in next door. The whole family was weird. I used to spend the night at his house every once in a while. I remember one time we woke up in the morning and his hair was all messed up because he had bedhead, and he just got out scissors and just cut off all the pieces that were sticking up everywhere. And I was like, I'm going home.
What?
I'm going home.
This is the sign for me to go home.
His name was Damon?
His name was Damon. Yeah.
I think they missed an I. I think it was Damien, the Antichrist.
I've never known a normal Damon. I've not known, and maybe we have some that are listening, doubtful, but I've never known.
Damien Griffin, funny comedian.
No, but that's Damien. Damon.
Yeah. Andrew, have you ever known a Damon who you're like, I vouch for this guy?
Yeah.
I will stand behind this Damon.
I've never even known a Damon, so I can't speak on it.
Go.
Yeah, it's
Well,
rare.
here's the thing. The Damons you knew, they wouldn't even tell you they were named Damon. They were so dishonest.
Yeah.
And that's really fucked up.
That's creepy. For me, growing up, it was kids named Dustin. I had a friend named Dustin who came over, and he went to the bathroom, and he stood in our shower and peed in our shower, and then came back out to play like normal. And my mom was like, your friend just peed in our bathtub like it was the toilet. I'm taking him home.
What the fuck? That's amazing.
Because we were older. This wasn't like toddler shit. This is probably like, I don't know, a 12-year-old or something.
Whoa. Yeah, that's past the age that's appropriate. That's fucking crazy.
I love a good neighborhood weirdo.
Oh my God.
Every neighborhood's got one.
Well, step on over into Central Maine, Yetis, because I had more of them than I can count. My neighbor behind me, Steve Farrell, lived in a bright pink house that was shrink wrapped in plastic. And his dad used to just keep porn laying around, all kinds of porn. And you're saying to yourself, Ben, this story isn't even in the same region as ours. This is so much more sad and terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's typically how the podcast goes. If you're a new listener, this is what happens. I sort of present a talking prompt. Andrew's like, hey, I got something tangential. And then Ben's like, here's how I'm haunted. And we're like, okay.
No, but there were always there. You're right. On every street, there was the kid that you were like, fucking, like, did you hear what he did? Like, there was always that kid. If they'd like stab somebody with a pencil in school, you're like,
Oh yeah, pencil stabbings and compass stabbings.
Yeah.
those were that was the crime of the day.
There was a kid that was in my class who used to, because I went, my elementary school was this big, beautiful old brick building that had been built probably in the 1800s, and it had those cast iron heaters that would get unreasonably hot, like third degree burn inducing hot during the day. And this kid used to spit on them all day long. He'd sit by it and he'd spit on it, and it would release the smell because it would
Sizzling cooking
it would sizzle
spit.
loogie. And they would do
Dude,
that.
that is so gross.
I don't know why he did it. None of us got a particularly big laugh out of it. He would just sit back there and you'd hear this.
Was his name Damon? Is this the same kid?
Is this
It could
another
be.
Damon?
It could be. I didn't.
Speaking of brick, you just reminded me of a Douglas in my class who kept getting caught rubbing his little dink on the brick wall behind the gymnasium. He'd be rubbing his dick on the brick wall, and he'd get busted doing it, and there would be like a whole thing. And he'd get caught again.
Oh God!
Like
I don't know. I can't
he had
think of
to
a
keep going
worse
back.
surface to rub your dick on than just a rough exterior brick
Oh my
wall of a
God.
gymnasium.
and
This
now,
is a Dustin. This is a Damon. This is
a
crazy.
Douglas.
and now this
Douglas.
is
D
Don't
names.
name your kid D names. Do not go with D names.
the current chapter president of Bricklayers Union 362.
Just got a sweet brick in the nightstand he takes out at night.
And it's so well worn. It's got a little.
Ooh,
It's got
yeah.
a groove in the exact shape of his dink.
Just
and
a
he places it in
classic
there.
red
Honey.
rectangle.
Leave me alone. I'm playing with my brick. I'm tugging the brick.
It's a brick night.
Yeah.
Like a statue at the Vatican that's worn down from use from all the worshippers touching it. The brick is just in the exact shape of his
Fuck,
dink.
you used to fuck a
Holy
brick
shit.
wall? That's the weirdest shit I've ever fucking heard of, dude.
You want to talk about weird kids? I took my boys this weekend. Listen to this shit. I took my boys to Monster Jam this weekend.
Boom! Dad
Whoa.
move. What the fuck? That's awesome. Where at?
It's incredible.
And by
Yeah.
I took my kids, I mean Katie informed me the four of us were going to Monster Jam this weekend.
Katie rules. Can we get Katie to replace you on this podcast?
Okay, hold on. I'll go see if she's available. Do you know what a thrill it'd be if I could bow out and Katie would take over and I could still get the Patreon money and the money from the monthly live show and I didn't have to do this anymore? That would be absolutely amazing. That would be a real win for me.
Wait. So
Well, I'm sorry this is such a chore for
It
you.
is a chore. It's become a chore.
wait a second. Where was it? Do tell. Give me deets.
I'm sure it's a
So-
ball arena.
Ball
No,
arena.
it could
I
be
got
that
a
or the
5-year-old.
Coliseum. They do it at the Coliseum.
I got a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old, both boys, very much of the truck loving age. And so we went to Monster Jam, which was at Ball Arena. And it was very hard for me because that's where the Denver Nuggets play. Normally, that place is a source of great happiness for me. But I walked into Monster Jam and I became so unhappy immediately because it was a white trash melange that I wanted nothing to do with.
Cornucopia.
Wait.
But I got to tell you, Monster Truck has figured it out because they get the white trash dollar to the nth degree. They got them locked in. But then they have me and all the parents of the world with these little kids who just love cars. And they're like, okay, I guess we'll take our kids to this deafening, boring experience and pay so much money for it. I hated Monster Jam. I texted Andrew. The only good thing I have to say about it is that they weren't registering people to vote.
Okay. Wait.
Because all those people are already registered and ready to vote twice for their favorite orange guy.
But wait. So, didn't enjoy the trucks at all?
You didn't enjoy the spectacle of it?
When I walked
It's
in-
cars
no.
getting smashed.
When I walked in, there's no smashing of cars. When I walked in and I saw the size of the trucks, and I was like, okay, that's impressive. And then when they first started up, it was so deafening. And they go around the ring, and you're like, okay, this is high octane. Like, and then they just slowed it down, and they're like, all right, and now Truckosaurus is gonna do the course, and we're all gonna time it and see who does the best time. And then he did it. And then the next one did it. And then the next one
Oh,
did
so
it.
they
And then the
weren't
next one did it.
jumping cars and doing all that crazy
They
shit.
didn't do the smashing of. They
that
didn't
was
like
the
light up
first thing.
cars and
Then-
drive over them.
No, this wasn't like a demolition derby. It was just like Monster Jam trucks, but
Rally.
like the ones you
It was a
know.
monster rally. You picked the monster truck rally where they're racing.
I
for
didn't
Yeah, that
pick
doesn't
any.
sound that fun. Did they do the tricks where the truck will like
Yeah.
bounce on
Then
its
the next
like
thing is
back
they'd go up
tires?
this dirt mountain, they'd bounce, and they'd bounce on their front tires, and it was like,
Come
you
on,
could
that's
vote
kind of
what you thought was
cool.
the best score.
That's kind of cool.
It's like a pogo ball.
Every event started
Thank
cool.
you,
It was
Andrew.
like cool, and again, I this is all probably very hard to pull off. These dudes are like experts in their field, but the first guy would do the thing,
Experts in their field.
and then there was like no variation. I was like, all right, well now have one on fire. Now have a guy standing on top
Adam,
of it.
Stop.
Like it was
Stop
just like
for a minute. You've got a riff cop in front of your car. He's got his hand up. He's saying stop because you just said you're sure that this guy is an expert in his field.
Experts in
And you expect to just drive right by that.
They
you
went to
fucking
Monster
asshole.
Truck College.
Yeah.
Excuse me, it's Dr. Gravedigger. I didn't go to 6 years of Monster Truck School to be called Mr.
6 years. Where do they go, Andrew?
It's a long program.
That's a long program. Wow.
No, I'm sure it takes skill, but what a funny thing.
I
to say.
didn't do my thesis on front wheel hopping to be known as
You're an innovator.
Yeah.
You're an innovator.
Wait, so okay, anyway,
Oh, boy.
these
Okay.
experts in their field. Adam, I'm sorry,
You know,
I missed
hopping around.
everything after
it's
that.
it's so
You're
nitpicky.
just such an asshole. Like
Do you
it's
think-
impressive that
Do you think
just
the guys that go around the country doing Monster Jam are not the experts at Monster Jam? You think they're
No,
amateurs?
they are. It was just a
that they
funny
picked up in the
term.
parking lot that day. I think they're the fucking top of the field. I think they're the best Monster Jam guys
Just no
in
one-
these United States.
No one's in the parking lot being like, kiddo, we're about to see the experts in their field, the top echelon. This is
I just don't accept you guys picking the meat off this carcass. They are the top echelon.
yeah.
No, they are. It's just a
100%.
funny
No
way
one
to
that
say
goes
it.
to Monster Truck Jam says echelon or experts in their field. Like it's
This is why I didn't want to go to Monster Jam.
this is what it
you do
shows.
these things for your children.
Yeah. I
You
can
do
just
these things for your
picture-
children to make them happy.
One
Malcolm,
And-
pay attention. These are the experts in their field.
Kids, boys, I can't help but notice you're not paying attention. These are some of the top drivers. These are some of the experts in their field, and you pay them the due deference.
and every family around you wants to beat the shit out of this waspy family.
You guys, I noticed this whole section's kind of being a little bit distracted. Well, guess what? These are some of the world's top drivers. So maybe we should pay a little bit more attention as a wedge of ballerina, don't we think,
Oh,
everyone?
God. Adam, I will
Amazing.
say that I want to say that is a very great dad move to take your kids, because did your kids fucking love it?
Yeah. How did the boys treat it? Because I know they love trucks.
Malcolm's coming out of his truck phase. He's getting older, but first thing they rev it up and they're like, headphones. They were just like so loud.
Yeah.
So we brought headphones and we popped them on them. And then Malcolm was into it, but Ellis, who is wild and constantly moving, and if you're trying to sit in a chair with him, it's like, hold on tight. He was wrapped. He did not move. He just sat there intensely watching every single thing.
So he was totally into it.
Ellis
You
loved
found
it. Ellis
the
was
cure.
as fascinated as I've ever seen him about anything, for sure.
Yeah. Well,
So it's easy. You just need to do Monster Jam every day before nap time, and I think it's going to be
and
chill.
And
I've
it's cheap,
I've
and it's chill for me.
said that for a
sure.
while, that Ellis is the trashier of the two of your children. Like he's
Yeah, you very freely comment on the differences between the boys and their sort of.
I do,
and
because
not
I
in the
see them
kindest
and
of
they're
phrasing
glaring. You know, it's like Malcolm is sort of, he makes a lot of quick judgments about people that could be seen as racist. But and then I feel like Ellis, while being more accepting of other people's differences, is a child that is a little more prone to lower income activities. And that's just
Andrew,
what I've noticed.
Did you know that Ben's son Milo has started stealing again?
I told you that in privacy.
Did you know he started stealing again?
That.
And now he's out in California, so like Ben can't even keep an eye on him. But he's stealing a lot out there.
I hope Milo becomes like a Fast and the Furious character where he steals cars and races them at night for slips down in Chinatown. That's what I hope happens to Milo because it's cool.
I don't. What happens if I don't want that for my son?
Doesn't seem to matter.
That's the crazy thing about kids. Everyone else gets their own aspirations for your kid. Sorry.
Well, Adam, I will say
this is a
good thing you did as a dad.
It's a great dad move. It's you laid on your sword and you went down there and you suffered through Monster Jam so your boys would have an amazing formative memory.
We brought home one of the drivers.
And I'm
we
the
brought home
creep.
one of the drivers and
Andrew's
he lives with us.
talking about your two. I'm just talking about their personality difference. He's talking about their formative member, and you don't come down on Andrew for that.
Andrew's talking about the driver, one of the experts in this field, that asked if he could bunk with us for a little while because he's separated from his wife.
Needed a
and
place
he's
to stay.
in some financial trouble, and we said, "Yeah, you're one of the top experts in this field."
Stop,
gave them a
little bit.
Stop saying that. I don't like it. I don't know why.
memory.
Stay with us for a little bit till you get back on your feet.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
His
good
name's
for
Rick.
it.
He's downstairs right now. Great guy.
Honey,
Sleeps in his
he's
neon yellow
good
coveralls.
for the money. We can lend him some cash. This is a guy.
ACH, can I get another 2 liter of Code Red down here?
He's good for it.
Hold
honey.
on, guys. I got to take Keith as fuel.
This is one of the foremost.
This guy's an expert in his
experts on
field.
this. Anyway,
All right, but this is a great segue because we have a call for assistance from a patron. This comes from Richard V. Richard wrote in saying, "My wife and I are expecting our first child. I'd love any suggestions you all have as parents, books you read, or your spouse's thoughts and suggestions. Thanks."
wow.
So let's get into it. We've got a mission, boys. We need to better someone's world with some parenting advice, especially new parenting advice. So we're going to take a break, but when we get back, you're going to get 3 experts in their field dishing parenting advice.
Yeah. Heck yeah. We're going to talk formative members. We're going to talk monster jamming with your kids. We're going to do it all. We're going to talk about it all.
First suggestion, maybe name the child Grawlix Saves the World. Just think about it, see how it hits you.
Oh, terrible name.
You could call him G for short. Hey, real quick,
G.
if you're listening to this and you do not currently support our Patreon page, you should go check it out. I mean, the people who do, first of all, we love our supporters. And second of all, they could tell you it's amazing. You know, there's all kinds of extra content. There's the pod within a pod, Boy Crazy. There's ad-free episodes. There's the 4th act. Holy shit. People aren't seeing the 4th act, which is a whole other act. And it's always ridiculous. So if you get a chance, go check out our Patreon page, patreon.com/Grawlix Saves, where you can get all your favorite Grawlix bonus content. But in the meantime, we're going to take a quick break, pay some of these bills. And when we return, we'll have some parenting advice from 3 of what I think are the okayest dads on the planet. So you stay tuned right there, kiddo. You think about what you did.
Hey, do you love the Grawlix Saves the World, but are sad because you're not getting enough of it?
Boy, do I.
Well, great news. You can get all sorts of bonus content on our Patreon.
Like what?
Tell them, Ben.
Act 4, ad-free episodes, birthday shoutouts, exclusive merch, stronger, more painful erections, our pod within a pod, Boy Crazy, decreased A1C levels, photos and videos, bonus content, and so much more.
Okay, I'll do it.
No, kick to me. Say, how do I do it? How do I sign up?
We're not trying to sell it to you, Andrew. You don't have to. Jesus.
Oh, well, I mean, it sounded good. Okay, how do I sign up then?
Fuck it.
You can sign up now by visiting patreon.com/Grawlix Saves.
I do want to sign up.
Alrighty, we are back. Act 2. Here we go, and we're coming back. We're going to talk parenting advice for Richard V, our Patreon subscriber.
Yep.
And if you just to recap, Richard and his wife are expecting a child. And
Child number 1.
Congratulations. And first of all, and second of all, Richard knew to come to the foremost experts in their field, right? These are
Of
now
parenting.
Yes, definitely. These are experts in their field.
You guys have
at
gone
what they
from
do.
mocking it to respecting it. I've made you
Embracing
Embrace
it. And that's the
Truly,
magic
yeah.
of a
It
podcast.
really is. And now it's like a thing that we can just all enjoy as experts.
Yeah.
I think
But,
that's how most things in language start. Ironically, I hate this, and then the next thing you know, you're actually saying it. So
Fine, I'll stop drawing oxen on the cave wall and learn to read. Cool. I'll start first.
Yeah,
well,
why
let's
not?
just go
That
around
made
and let's
no fucking sense.
let's fire off tips.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, you don't know what a cave painting is?
I know what a
you
cave
fucking
painting is.
idiot?
I just thought that it was a little too out there for our listeners.
Look, we're not getting along on this
No, I
episode,
don't-
and I want a divorce. I want a
Good luck.
divorce
On what
from you.
grounds? On what grounds?
On what ground? Oh, don't get me started.
Can I offer
All right.
up my dad as an attorney for either team?
me
All right,
first,
all right,
dibs.
Andrew, you get my
Okay.
dad. He'll represent you in the divorce. Ben, you get my sister. And they're
Oh,
going
I chose
I
incorrectly.
won that
I
one.
chose
I
wrong.
won that one. Yeah.
Anna
Heck yeah.
versus
I didn't-
Johnny, the battle royale over the fates
Well,
of Ben
at least
and
I'll
Andrew.
feel good about losing.
You may want to check to make sure Anna wants to represent me in
Nah,
anything.
I'll text her later. You're good, dude. And she'll only take money if she wins.
Andrew,
Ooh, a
let's
daytime
state
lawyer
our
guarantee.
credentials first of all. Like, I would love to state our credentials.
Sure,
Adam,
sure.
go ahead and state your parenting credentials.
Adam Caton Holland, father of 2 boys, aged 5, 2. 5
Excellent.
and 2.
Andrew
5 and 2.
Orvidal, father of 1 non-binary teenager, age 14,
There it is.
in high school.
And then Benjamin Roy, father of a soon-to-be 19-year-old who is living on his own now.
You
So
gotta
we've
make
kind
it
of
Was
sound
stealing
badass
cars
like
in
we did.
downtown LA,
Oh, I'm sorry.
racing them at
I
night.
gotta
I'll
do
do
it
Mortal
badass.
Kombat music. Do 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 do
It's like
do.
choose-
And now you,
It's like choose your fighter. That's not
Dad,
Mortal Kombat music.
My
but
son is he's going to be 19 in March, and he's a good boy. My son is a
Okay,
good
all right.
boy.
you talk about your son like he's a dog.
Yes, he'll go
Jesus
boy.
Christ. Okay, well,
no.
put an asterisk next to Ben's advice.
Everybody who's
here's
followed this show knows Milo already. If you followed, you know my little dude.
Yeah, the thief.
Anyway, so we're quite
I got
qualified.
it. I'll start it off. Here's my first tip. This is something that I often tell my friends who are about to have a kid, and I think it's applicable to anyone who's having a kid, not necessarily just dads, but get in the best shape you can and figure out a way to stay in decent shape as easily as possible, because you're about to have it's going to start as like an 8-pound weight, but this weight is going to just keep getting heavier and heavier. And unlike other weights at the gym, this little weight will like scream for you to pick it up, and it'll like follow you around and be like, pick me up. And you're going to have to pick that weight up and
What a
carry
weird-
it all the time. And pretty soon it'll be like a 20-pound weight, and you'll just have it on one of your hips. Your back's
now
going to
this
be
20-pound
absolutely
weight,
fucked.
It's shitting all over Planet Fitness, and you're out of diapers.
Your neck's going to be screwed up. So being in just like even a improved level of fitness is going to pay off, because you're not going to be getting great sleep. Your time is going to be gobbled up taking care
This weight
of that
of a
kid.
weight.
By a
So
weight, a
By a
gobbling weight
By a-
that
that
you
eats
picked up
and
at a
cries.
Planet
Yeah.
Fitness, a gobbling, crying, shitting weight that you picked up.
Sometimes the weight
At
looks
Planet
like
Fitness.
you. Sometimes it looks like your father-in-law, and you're like, "Who is this weight?"
and sometimes this weight takes its dick out and rubs it
Was
on
it a
brick
mistake?
wall.
Was it a mistake to make this weight? I don't know. But that is
What an
something
interesting
that
thought. Did you find your body pretty beat up by?
it's like a war of attrition because the baby's not that heavy, but you're dancing around with it for hours at night trying to get it to sleep. You're just doing all these things with it, and it does take a toll on your body. More than anything, I noticed it was like the alignment of my back would be screwed up because I'd have the baby on one side or the other, or maybe you're wearing like a sling of some
Baby
sort,
Bjorn.
something to a baby harness, and that's kind of putting strain on there. So anything you can do to even marginally improve your fitness, your core fitness, your flexibility is going to pay off, and trying to kind of just maintain that as you are taking care of the baby.
It's funny. I was at a barbecue like a summer or two ago with Ellis, and I was holding him, and I had a short sleeve on, and he was just, I was holding him on this time the whole time. My friend came up and grabbed my bicep. He's like, "You got the dad arm." He's like, "You have one arm that you sort of like hold this kid up with all the time, and it's just stronger than the other one because you're constantly got him right there."
Yeah, I think I didn't experience that because I avoided holding my child at all costs.
Oh.
And so,
wow,
yeah.
that's the detachment
Yes.
parenting method. I use the attachment method. There's also the
why
detachment.
get close to me when I'm just going to go? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I just
Wow.
try to.
The cigarettes method.
I think that's actually. I mean, getting in shape before having a kid and in getting in good physical shape is probably just good anyway because it is physically taxing at first. You're tired a lot, so making sure that that your body is in the best possible condition to handle that.
Wait, but alternately,
that's
if this is going to
interesting.
be so physically taxing, then maybe you should get in really shitty shape, and then the baby will force you to get into good shape. You know what I mean? Like, have some fun, indulge, sit around, and then the
I don't
baby
think
will
so.
be
I
the
don't think
workout.
you have.
'Cause
I don't think you have the time or presence to
I
get into
did that.
good shape. You could get into you can maintain shape, but I don't see you getting into good shape with a newborn baby around.
Yeah. That's a good piece of advice, Andrew.
Is it?
Not one I would have thought of.
Wow,
Well,
we're friends again.
Yeah, no,
we're friends again.
I actually think it is a good piece of advice. It kind of dovetails with mine, if you don't mind if I go second.
I'm
Let's hear it.
dying for you to go.
This
then.
is going to be now granted, the difference between all of us is Adam, you had Malcolm at what age? How old were you?
Well, I'm 43 and he's 5, so 37, 38.
Andrew, how old were you when Jupe was born?
32.
Yeah, I was 25, so I was quite a bit younger. None of us, and producer Ron just chimed in that he was 27. So this is going to sound heavy, but
You mean so it's
really
a
think
Ben Roy segment of the podcast?
sure, but it's an honest one. I think you should deal, and if you don't, that's fine. And I'm not trying to bring anything up. I don't know anything about Richard V. Let me put this as a disclaimer. I know nothing about Richard or his partner. If you have any kind of issues with addiction or drinking or anything, you probably ought to start working on that stuff, because I will tell you, a kid becomes the most amazing mirror. As soon as they come up, you hold them up and you're like, wow, I'm fucked up. Like, that's the first thing that I noticed was like, they demand a certain level from you. They don't understand. They're very pure in their thinking. They're very linear in their thinking. And so they don't understand that your behavior doesn't necessarily have anything to do with them, and so
Yeah.
I think for me, that's a big thing is if you're dealing with any kind of compulsion or compulsive behavior that you think could potentially be a problem, maybe a good time to start looking into those things.
And even if it's not necessarily compulsive, I'll tell you this, like being hungover and taking care of a kid feels so much worse than a regular hangover, because you also feel Like, I'm a bad parent. Like, you're just like, oh, you're sitting there drinking coffee, just hungover as shit, and your kid's bouncing around wanting to have fun. And you're like, oh, not today, kiddo. Daddy's running a little behind. It's like, that's sad. That's a sad. It never feels good. So
that's
yeah,
a great point, is that it doesn't just necessarily have an effect on the child, which is something you definitely have to worry about, but it definitely attacks your self-worth. Like you start to go like, I'm a terrible parent. Like this is bad.
I was talking to my kid about drinking and how I haven't drank for 5 years, and it was funny because she was like, I don't even remember you ever
Milo
drinking. She's
said
like,
the same thing.
She's like, I have no memory of you ever drinking. And I was like, oh, really? Because I felt like, I mean, I wasn't like out of control, sloppy face down in the front lawn. That was before I had a kid, but but I felt like I drank enough for them to at least have like memories of me drinking. But she has no memory, no context.
We were in London, and Milo we were at a pub. Everybody wanted to go to this very old pub in London. We were with a big group of friends. And we were sitting there, and I ordered fish and chips, and they had their version you know how all the pubs over there have their own sort of beer that they serve, like it's their own lager or whatever, like that. It's almost like their thing for that. They had an NA version of that, and I ordered it, but Milo did not understand that NA meant non-alcoholic. I just said, can I get this beer? And when it came to the table, Milo's eyes, he was like, oh my God. And he looked at my ex, and he was like, and she was like, what? And he's like, pointed to the beer. He's like, Dad's drinking.
She's like, alcoholism doesn't count when it's not in the U.S. It's good
when it's
on
British.
vacation.
And
It's
that's what I
fine.
told him. The beer is made here. It's fine, kiddo.
It's fine on vacation.
I'm not allowed to get drunk. No, but he was like, I was like, oh, it's non-alcoholic. And he was like, oh my God. And he's invested in my sobriety as well, which kind of makes me feel weird. You know, like I'm like, you shouldn't have to stress about that.
But that's sweet. That's just like honest.
Yeah, it's very kind,
right.
but it's also like not a thing a kid should have to worry about, you know? So,
yeah, but I think that Milo knew that your sobriety was important to you.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that was a big part of it, of like, oh, Dad, like,
yeah,
you've got a great streak going. Real quick, I want to say one more drinking thing before we go to Adam, because this is just a side note. I don't know if Richard, what parenting method that they're using. There's all different parenting types. I use the attachment parenting method. That means that our baby either slept in a little special crib right next to the bed that like has an open side, or she would just sleep in the bed. And that worked awesome. But the one thing that you never want to do with that method, and anyone will tell you, is drink if you're going to have the baby in the bed with you at night. Because you will, if you're sober, you'll wake up. If you accidentally roll over and you're like laying on the baby, you'll like wake up. The baby will wake you up. But if you're like artificially asleep because of substances or alcohol, absolutely don't put the baby in
for
bed.
sure.
So
I will echo
that's
what
just
both of you said, because I'm the only one of the three of us who still drinks, partakes occasionally, and a hangover with children is the worst thing ever. Like anytime I'm going out and I'm gonna like drink, maybe you're just like, well, how much is this fun going to be worth? Because you will be up at 7 a.m. and they do not give a fuck that you had 4 beers last night. So it's like, is this going to be a really great time?
For it.
Because if not, then don't even go for it. Like, so I've really chosen my battles. I do not drink unless it's like really a cool
Dad,
thing. Or,
you threw up. Now let's get back on the swing set.
Monster
now
Jam time.
Yeah. All right, Adam.
All right, Adam, hit us with the tip.
I mean, this is very specific to how you want to do it. And everybody can make their choice. And I guess there are no wrong choices, but like we really got the kids out of our room and sleeping in their own room immediately. Like but we also learned
day one.
We just like kept them in a bassinet in the room for, I don't know, 6 weeks, 8 weeks. But as soon as we could get them out of there, we moved them down the hallway and resumed having our own space. And I remember with Malcolm, he was a shitty sleeper for like 6-7 months. And Katie and I were losing our minds. You're so sleep deprived. You're so shell shocked by this new experience. And finally, we reached out to this woman. We call her a sleep witch. but she was just, a sleep consultant. And
Hell yeah.
she got on a Zoom with us. We paid her some exorbitant amount. She got on a Zoom with us. We told her what we were doing. She told us exactly how to tweak it. And within like 2 days, Malcolm was transformed and sleeping like a champion. And so when we had our next kid, we got on the horn with her 2 months before Ellis was born. And we're like, tell us everything. Anything you say, we believe. We worship at the altar of you, sleep witch.
She's like, I will take your third
You are
born
the-
child
like-
in payment.
And she's since blown up. She's like, well, I don't even have time. Like, you can Zoom in 3 weeks. And she's like so busy. But I don't know if hiring a sleep consultant was the best move we've ever done. Now the boys sleep all through the night. Ellis has only been a great sleeper. Sleep is everything. So if you have the means,
sleep
reach out to a
witch.
sleep witch
Well,
ahead of time.
Adam will put the sleep witch info on the Patreon for you, Richard, so you can consult the
She's
sleep
so good.
Yeah.
She might be too
witch.
busy, Richard. She might be
Maybe
too busy.
she's too blown up, but maybe she can refer you to another sleep witch, a lesser witch.
Mine, like, we sort of had my wasn't a sleep witch, was my mother of all people, but she is
The
an
original
asshole.
Regular witch.
No, I'm just kidding.
No, just kidding.
But my mom, I remember calling her and I'd be like, fuck, he's just crying. And my mom was like, is he fed? And I was like, yes, he's eaten. And she was like, is his diaper clean? And I was like, yes. And she was like, is he running a fever? Does he seem sick? And I was like, no, he does no fever. I don't know why. And she's like, babies cry. And I remember my mother just being like, they have a lot of pain and things that happen as far as their development and their growing.
Growing pains
There is
they
a lot
can't
of
talk about.
stuff, internally that they can't express. Their stomach doing things. My mom was like, just calm down. They just cry sometimes. And I think I would freak out about that because I was like, there's something wrong, But being
Well, I think it is a biological response to a baby
Yeah.
crying where you're like, my baby's in distress.
Yeah.
How can I help them?
But my mom being like, you can put him down and let him cry for a little bit and step back and take some minutes for yourself, kind of was along the lines of like letting him, that was what transitioned into us letting him sleep on his own. And when we did that, he slept through the night. He's always slept through the night. We never had any issues. I'd be curious what sleep was like, Andrew, because you were the one of the three of us that did do attachment parenting.
Yeah, we co-slept and it was great. We slept. There was no issues when the baby would be hungry in the middle of the night. She'd nurse and we'd sleep and I truly, maybe my daughter cried 3 times as a baby from
Interesting.
getting hurt, falling down or something. Probably less. She did not cry because she was always around someone. She was always, she'd maybe
Felt very secure.
sometimes she'd be napping in her stroller or something, and she'd wake up and fuss a little bit, but no real crying how babies can. But
Ellis has cried.
but
3
yeah, it worked
times
great.
this
I recommend
morning.
it to everyone who can do it. Yeah. I mean, everyone has their own style, and I think it's wild to push anyone's style
Totally.
over another. But it worked great for us, and I have nothing but good experiences with it. I'm glad we did it, even though at times it might have been a little extra work because it was oh, I really do not want to dance this baby to sleep to some Sam Cooke. I'd rather just go to sleep on my own. But
Yeah.
it worked out.
Produce-
It worked out, and I have. I'm glad. I'm definitely glad.
Producer
that I-
Ron
that I
chimed
did it.
in with a book that helped him out called The Happiest Baby on the Block. That was apparently
Which is
very
coincidentally the name of my first rap album, but that's cool. I don't have to sue.
And it dropped hot. It got 4 mics in double XL, which is crazy.
And the source loved it.
The happiest baby on the block for
Unsigned
sleeping.
hype. He
and
made
crying.
unsigned hype. It's crazy that the happiest baby on the
Can
block.
I tell you guys what the sleep witch told us to do when Malcolm was like having a hard time sleeping, and then how she fixed it? It was so
Yes,
weird
please.
and psychologically strange. But like she's
Put a
like
ram skull
she's
on
just
your
like
door.
go into the room when it's bedtime, go through whatever little bedtime routine you have, and then turn the lights off and bring a chair into the room, sit there and show your baby that you're watching them, and then watch them for a few minutes and then leave. And that was night one. Then the next night, she's like, bring in the chair, sit with your back to them. Don't look at them. Don't make eye contact. Show them that you're there and then leave. And then night 3, take the chair, be gone. That's it. And it was just like a fucking switch.
And it worked in 3 nights?
3 nights from a baby that was like waking up a ton,
Wow.
falling asleep hard, to falling asleep and staying asleep the entire time.
And you know what it does is the baby, and it puts in the baby's head like that terrifying man that just sits silently and
chair.
stares at me
Is
is
finally
finally
gone.
gone. I can rest.
Yeah. I
That's
bet
right.
the harshest thing is when you're sitting with your back to the
Oh my
baby
God.
while they're crying. That's hardcore.
Well, I mean, it was
Katie,
Katie,
do
and
that.
she came out of the room fucking sobbing, and I was like, "It's okay." And then, like the next night,
I wouldn't be
it
able to
worked
do that.
like gangbusters, and that was 5.5
Wow.
years ago.
Yeah, I remember this is something that's so interesting because we were all different, but I think all our kids are seem to be healthy and adjusted children. And so I think the big thing with the sleep and all of that is that it's really tailoring it to what works for you. And there's different options. And so, just do your research on what's going to be best for you both.
Yeah, there's no single one way to raise a kid, obviously.
Andrew,
People-
what's your next one?
Next,
Yeah, let's
tip.
do one more tip each, and then I'm sure we'll have some bonus tips for an act 4. My next tip is actually it's a tip for you and your partner, because you and your partner's relationship is intrinsic to the quality of which you will raise that baby. And I think a lot of new parents, they get so busy, they're so focused on their kid, which is great. You should be pouring so much attention and focus and love into your new baby, but they basically just neglect their relationship, their partnership that got them to that point. And so I would encourage you, Richard, to not mistake a low maintenance relationship for a relationship that is now on autopilot, because that's bad. Like if your relationship is just has regressed to just being on autopilot and all your energy is going into your kid, your little baby will get to a certain age and you and your partner will be like, wow, we are like different than we were before we had a kid. We have like our relationship has withered as a result. So take time for you two. Take date nights. It's hard to hire a babysitter, especially the very first time, especially if the babysitter's not like a family member. If it's like, all right, we got to hire this person to take care of our kid. It's not easy, but doing that, just making sure to check in and invest in your relationship with your partner is just going to help the quality of your overall like family dynamic, and you can avoid just like letting your relationship with your partner kind of wither away
Andrew,
in the background.
do you believe in?
And I can say that'd be advice from my ex-spouse as well.
Do you believe in that advice strong enough to offer up your babysitting services to Richard for the first date?
Oh
Free
my
of charge.
gosh.
From
Sure,
his favorite
Richard,
podcast.
I guess.
That is a bonus
Richard, I can't
of being at the
babysit
Ben
dogs.
level of our Patreon. Now, everybody, what a great segue. Now,
Yep.
if you're looking to participate in the Patreon for the Grawlix, you come in at the Ben
get
level, you get
Andrew
1
at
hour
babysitting.
of free babysitting from
That's right.
TV's Andrew Orvidal. He'll come by as Coach Fairbell. He'll come
From
dressed up.
terrifying Andrew Orbital.
And,
He has a very robust pair of artificial breasts that he will breastfeed your baby through. He's a night nurse.
Robusto.
We saw one of those, the milking thing for guys. I forget the name of it, but
You've
they had
hired the
something like that.
services of Robusto the man nurse. And I will be That'll be it.
Busto the man
There he is
nurse.
with his heaving bosom.
that's-
Get in here, Robusto. I'm exhausted.
That's my second tip. Yeah, take care of yourselves, the parents of the baby, in addition to the baby.
I
Carve
couldn't
out
agree
even
more. Work on the
little bits of
relationship.
time.
That's why Katie and I brought in a third and then a fourth member of our relationship, and both of them are from the
Ooh,
Monster
a
Jam.
polycule,
Monster
huh? You
Jam
guys are-
circuit. Both of them
Ooh.
drivers on Monster Jam. They're experts in their field, and we invited them into our
Keith and
relationship
Rick.
about a week after Malcolm was born, and the four of us are great, and we're doing
Yeah,
very
I love the polycule. I love
You know, whatever it takes. Whatever it
The
takes.
dynamics.
well. Yeah.
Ben, do you have a second tip?
I do. And actually, honestly, Andrew and I have been aligned today. People who are listening, it's get your lottery tickets because this is a rare day that Andrew
Two
and
for
I.
two.
Mine was very similar to that. I think that is a part that is definitely talked about in books written by professionals, but I don't think in general conversation amongst friends and peers and people in your community that strengthening your relationship with your partner only benefits the child as well. So my thing that I would offer up as advice or more just as wisdom or whatnot, your relationship will go back to normal. There will be points, I think, at the very end of the pregnancy and then right at the beginning, and where Adam sort of is at points, although he's slowly getting past that, where you both look like you've been picked at by birds. You're fucked up. You know what I'm talking about.
Dude, you and I have had heart to hearts where you came over to write, and I was like, you could just see I'm in the fucking weeds.
You're both fucked up. Like you are tired. You're angry as fuck. Her whole identity is being robbed by this fucking uterine parasite that is just like that is basically becomes your partner's whole identity. Like no one asks anymore how she is doing. Like, are you happy? Are you thinking about your future activities? It's how's the baby? How are you feeling? It's all in relation to the kid. So the big thing that I would say is that it will go back to normal. And the more kind of grace that you can give to your female partner that I did not because I was young and stupid, that this is incredibly taxing and identity stealing, that you have to be very, very fucking patient and remember that as the child starts to establish its own identity and its own independence in school and in daycare, or, and beyond that, so do you. Your identity comes back. Your ability to have activities and desires and things outside of being a parent comes back, and your relationship gets stronger again, as mine did with as Andrew joked, my ex-wife now. But we didn't break up.
It ebbs and flows.
We didn't break
The
up
tide
because of
comes
the
in,
kids. We did that
the
all
tide
on
goes
our own.
out.
But no, I
So,
have to echo what Ben said because it's very true. Like my wife is pretty old school and's just always wanted to be a mom. Like she's just wanted to be a mom. She didn't put a career on hold. This is what she wanted to do. And it's still been so identity robbing for a woman who's always just wanted to be a mother. It's taken her years. It took her years to be able to say, I need more time for myself. I'm not getting the time to be a person. I need that time. And it was very hard for us to like figure out what was going wrong. And it was like that her entire identity had been robbed by the kid, and she didn't have any time to be who she was and just exist for one person for an hour and a half, and that is really something that we as men and fathers need to take stock of. Like it is harder.
Yeah, the name mother,
on them.
like the word, like you're a mother, like that's like a big fucking, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I felt like everywhere we went, after a while when Crystal said it and I started to, that's my ex-wife for people listening, said it and I started she would be like, because my ex was a photographer. She was an artist. She like prided herself on she didn't take my name. She did not want that because she had already built a business on her own. And I was like, fuck yeah. Like that, this was like the opposite in a lot of ways of other types of relationships. And she was like, I'm just this thing that relies on me to live. And everybody is like, how's the thing doing? How's the baby doing? But like looks past me, you know, like,
Yeah, totally.
and I was like, I feel that if I have a bad set at Comedy Works, you know what I mean? I feel like I'm not being seen enough. Now you've got this fucking squiggling weight, as Andrew refers to it, on your shoulder.
Well, you said uterine parasite, so I think we're in the same
Mine,
boat
I think,
You guys
here.
are crushing
actually, yeah. So, but that would be mine. You know, give grace and realize that you'll get in the weeds, but if you stay relaxed, you try to do your best you can, you both will come out of it and your relationship will recover.
Get
So
your
that's
wife,
probably-
get your wife a
Maybe.
massage in a hotel room and say, "Go away for 24 hours. I got it." Do that right out.
Little
the
things
gates.
like that,
Can-
yeah,
Holy shit.
would be
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah.
The first time we did that for my ex, it was as if I freed a country of its from. She was just like, "Thank you," you know. And I was like, "Really, it's not that big a deal. I've drank 4 nights this week."
Hey, I did the same. I
It's
told
the
Katie,
least I can
I said,
do.
take a few days. She comes back 7 months later. We don't know where she's been.
Glowing.
She's so
glowing.
happy.
She has a Greek passport now.
Sunburn.
Unreal. And
So
I was like,
sunburned.
That was a bit much, but I guess you found you again, and it's cool to see you with
She
your
knows how to
groove back.
sail
She
now?
knows how to sail?
I don't know.
She sent me postcards, Adam.
Did
You didn't
she?
get any postcards? Yeah.
Was she with that captain?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was with
Yeah,
that ship
Burke.
captain?
Yeah, Captain Burke. What a
Yeah.
great guy.
Yeah,
What a
he's
great
good
guy.
dude. He comes around.
He
to
ris-
Burke-
she told me on the postcard that he had a lot of questions about your kids, and he seemed very
Yeah, no,
interested. in
he was
knowing.
at Ellis's last birthday. It was a little weird.
Oh, they love
cool.
Captain Burke.
They
Cool
love- they do love
dynamic.
Captain Burke.
Well, it is a polycule. The more, the merrier. Adam, last but not least, let's hear
hear your final
your
one.
last tip, and we'll do some bonus
I don't
tips
want
in
to
an
get
act
too
4.
heavy with it, and I don't want to take up too much time because we've been talking a lot about kids, and obviously we could talk a ton more about this. But it took me a little bit to learn this, and it seems so intuitive that it's crazy that it took me a little while to learn. But basically, you just got to meet your kids where they're at, and I think like that just goes for their entire life. Like whatever they're into, be into it with them. And if you
Fuck
want,
yeah.
if you want to be that, if you want them to be into things that you're into, it's not going to work because you're forcing it. And so it's just like I remember with my firstborn Malcolm, I love soccer. I want him to play soccer. I'd love if we could play soccer our entire lives. And we took him to this little soccer camp for 2-year-olds, and he wasn't even playing. He was just watching trucks on the street while all the other kids were running around playing soccer. And we did it a number of weeks, and it was like he's just more excited about the fire trucks than he is about the ball, and that is just fine. And I think that was a lesson that I had to learn, and that
Andrew's
goes for their
brewing
whole,
something in his brain.
their whole lives. And I think that goes for gender and sexuality and all of it. And I think it's maybe we're more evolved parents, and older men and older generations will be like, nope, you're going to be this way. But you meet your kids wherever they're at and just support it. And that's, I think, the best you can do.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
why it's bad for a parent to introduce their child to drugs. But if your kid gets into drugs and you do them with him, that's totally cool. And I
Now
learned
you're
that.
Ken Griffey and Ken Griffey Jr. of the drug world. And how
I
cool
could
is
see
that?
Andrew smirking, and I knew his brain was turning. I could see him when you were talking, wanting to take this pontoon skiff into Rip City
And I didn't
Bay.
sound in earnestness, Horn, so I was
You
out.
didn't, and
I
I could
was
see
out.
No,
his
it was just such an oil painting of Adam watching his son at the soccer camp, standing at the chain link fence, watching trucks fart their way by,
I
and
mean,
just
yeah.
Adam
I've got my cleats on. I'm so excited. Like,
yeah, you're not even playing, but you're fully dressed up.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm getting him started at the right time. For me, it was too late. I never could have gone pro, but I'm getting him into it at the exact time. His whole life of being an amazing pro soccer player starts today.
It's really true though. Like I've been into jujitsu. Milo has never. Yeah, I've tried to get him to go to a couple classes, but Milo got really into playing music, or he got really into video games, which I am not a gamer. I don't play video games, but I got into it with him. We played video games together. We would play, we would do the split screen, or I would play on those battle, like where you could play online. Like I would online game with him.
We get it. Yeah. We get it.
And so I had a ton. I know, but I didn't know the lingo.
It's just funny to watch Andrew have to endure you or I talk about video games. He's like, yes, I fucking know what you're saying.
Yeah, but it was
very funny.
We got really into playing like Call of Duty together. Like we would have fun and like talk trash. And it was a way that like we like bonded doing something together. And I could have been the dad that's like, yeah, these video games. And I don't, because I'm not into it at the time sec. But it's not like it dominates his life anymore. It was a thing he was into. Jiu-jitsu he was like, that's your thing. And I wanted him to be part of it, but I realized it was like, because I wanted to know how to defend myself when I was younger. It was my things that made it important.
Well, and think about
that is great. Think
about how you are with your dad. It's like you didn't follow their path, but some of the things they were interested in, you just picked up. Like some of the music they shared with you. Like my boys, I watch all the Nuggets games. I don't force them to watch them. They both love basketball and can you know what I mean? They just like pick that shit up because you're into it. The less you force it on them, the better.
My dad used to tell me we were going to go get ice cream, and he would take me to the lumber yard instead, and we'd pick out wood for a home project.
Andrew.
Wow.
Adam,
as a parenting tip, don't do that.
Adam
that was a pretty good prank.
Are both silent. Neither of us are laughing about this.
No.
I just remembered it. I just remembered it.
Sad story, Andrew, and one that continues to make me feel very, very sad for you.
It was sad, but in hindsight, pretty funny.
That's worse than the chair go forward, chair go backward, chair is gone therapy that Adam used on his child.
The silent witness method they call
ice cream for wood protocol is not.
But he did it it was like a Lucy holding the football situation, and I fell for it every time.
Even sadder.
He'd be like, lumberyard again, dickhead.
The lumberyard was called Hugh M. Woods, and boy, did I hate
what
that
was the name
place.
of your ice cream shop?
I don't know, because I never went.
Oh, so sad. That is so sad. Let's skip past Andrew's crippling sadness.
Sure.
The other thing I was going to say is, I don't know Richard V's age, or the age, his age or of his wife, but if you have to work and do some things here and there, and I'm not saying a lot where you're taking away a ton of time, you can also include your child in that if you have to go do stuff and it's appropriate. I don't know how many times I was like, I have this stand-up thing that I have to do. If it was appropriate, I brought the kiddo along. He hung out backstage at the Grawlix sometimes, and I've asked him now what he thought about it, and he was like, man, I love those memories. He was like, I love it because he loves you guys. He loves Adam and Andrew, and he met so many comics. His memory of the Sklar Bros is so pointed and just so specific. He's like, the Sklar Bros, even now, took me to Rocket Fizz because he doesn't remember that I had to bring him because his mom had something to do to the show. But I was like, you're going to meet some comedians. And he met the Sklar brothers, and they took him to Rocket Fizz and bought him a bunch of candy and soda. And he loves them now. And so it's kind of, I remember growing up, my mom managed a bunch of Tom McCann shoe stores. And my mom was very busy and young parent. And I used to play out back on the little ladders that would go between the
Hell yeah.
where the
those are
stacks
fun.
of shoes, and it was on wheels, and you could zip that fucking thing going along. And I would
Hell
run around
yeah.
in the back. My mom was like, I hated that I had to bring you to work. And I was like, I fucking loved that. Like, I used to love,
Yeah, I liked going to my dad's law office. Like, and there, you'd play with the copy machine and shit. Like, whatever. You'd have fun.
And obviously that can be too much if you're, you know what I mean? And that's a balance. But if you have to do it.
Yeah, Richard, down at the quarry, do not bring your kid to the job site.
I don't think you have to rule out all rock quarries or all jobs within it. I think you put a kid in a bucket loader, he could be some real help there.
Body retriever. You can always use an extra set of little hands getting them out of the quarry.
Heck yeah. You work in the basement of a funeral home, and you have to embalm the bodies. You have to put the makeup. Let the kid put the blush on.
Leave a
some cheeks.
toddler
I got
down
one
there.
more tiny one. I wish somebody had told me this before I had kids. Babies don't have kneecaps. They grow in. And it's so weird when you learn that. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. You can just twist their little legs every which way. They don't have those kneecaps. They grow in. It's terrifying.
Well, this has been a
Wow. So another quiet one, because Jesus.
good episode, guys.
They don't have kneecaps.
That's terrifying.
I know.
I guess I didn't know that, but
know.
I wasn't ever twisting my kid's legs.
Well, I told you that
like
soccer
Gumby.
experiment was pretty intense early on.
This has been fun,
Wow.
and we've had a good time.
a smattering of tips, but we'll have some more in Act 4. Thank you so much, Richard, for asking for some tips. And if you're listening to this as fans of our show, if you have any parenting tips, if we completely missed the boat on a great one, if you've got your own sleep witch you'd like to shout out, let us know. Shoot
And
us
also,
a comment on social
more
media
than
or comment on Patreon.
If there's ways that we could improve your world, like we just did Richard's, he's going to be a better parent now because of this
Richard's done,
slam
basically.
dunk.
This baby is autopilot.
Exactly.
We're looking at
You're
a
welcome.
future
Richard, honestly,
CEO of anything they want.
think-
or a pro soccer
I
player,
think you
whatever.
could step aside for a while, Richard. I don't even think you really have to be there. I think we've kind of given you
You've
everything you need.
Got the inside track,
We hit
so
the cue
you're
ball,
welcome.
and it's on a trajectory. So why don't you just sit back
You
and let the
say
money
inside
roll
track. Ben says cue ball. I'll say keys to the kingdom. Richard, you've been given it all in this episode.
Oh, and yes, to anybody listening, if you have questions, you want advice from 3 experts in nearly all of their fields, you just send us those. We love to answer these types of things. We'll make a whole episode around it. But Richard V, congratulations. You're going to be great parents to you and your wife. And Earnestness Horn.
Hey, Vern.
There it is. Thank you. Being a parent is the single greatest thing I ever did with my life. No hyperbole. I did not want to be a father before it. It happened very unexpectedly, and it has changed my life for the better. And I believe, as I believe Adam and Andrew can attest. Remember, Earnestness Horn, the drawbridge is down, as I believe you can both attest. It is truly enlightening and wonderful and totally worth.
I couldn't agree more, Ben. We're 3 for 3. I can't believe it.
Yes. Oh my God. Adam, do you agree? Remember Earnestness Horn?
Absolutely.
I could see you lower the scope on your rifle. You wanted to drop one. I
can't do it. Earnestness Horn about kiddos. It's the best thing I've ever done, and I'm loving it. And it's exhausting and hard, and I love it.
Yes, you will be great.
The best job you'll
Great
ever
episode.
love.
A little heartwarming, off-putting, as usual, with some of Andrew's admissions.
Some of Andrew's stuff really took us to a low, low place.
But I will...
Guys, do you want to go get ice cream after this?
I can't watch you cry.
I'll take you to Home Depot. I need to buy some new screws.
I don't want to do this anymore.
Well, it's sad to see him do what his dad did to him. Like, he's not breaking the cycle.
We were saying you pick up things from your dad, and one of them is an ice cream prank.
Let's listen to some live stand-up comedy from our live show, the live Grawlix show that happens the last Saturday of every month at the world-famous Bug Theater. Tickets are on sale now. You can get those by going into the show notes. But this comic we're going to play now, this is a comic you may remember from the fly fishing episode. He took us fly fishing. Everybody, please enjoy this clip from Elin Stribling.
What? That guy's an expert in his field.
Yeah. And when we return, third actors, start putting pine tar on those gloves. Start getting the weights on the end of the bat. Take a couple practice cuts because you're on deck and you're in the whole third act coming up. The greatest third act in the big. We got news. We got more show. We got some good news coming up. We got lots to do. So stay tuned.
I am getting to the age where I have baby fever. I have baby fever. I love babies. I love the way babies smell. I can't wait to have a baby. Like, I really have baby fever. But you're not allowed to say that as a man, right? Like, if a woman says she has baby fever and she loves the way babies smell, people are like, oh my God, that's so lovely. Can't wait for you to have a baby. If I go, I love the way babies smell, people are like, we got to get that guy the fuck out of here. I do. I love, if I see a baby get on a plane, I'm like, I want to sit next to you. I got questions, dog. Like, I love babies, and it's getting me in trouble a little bit. Like, I was down in Mexico, and I didn't like steal a baby or anything, but I was down in Mexico, and I'm talking to this restaurant owner and his wife is holding a beautiful newborn baby, right? And I don't speak that good Spanish, so I'm trying to tell her how much I love her baby, but I'm just pointing at her and the baby. I'm just like, yes. I'm just like, what you have is tight. Like, that's tight. Like, bueno, sí. Like, bueno. And she's like, sí? And I'm like, sí, right? She goes behind the counter, she grabs a shot glass, she squeezes breast milk into the shot glass. She comes back over me and goes, "See, aquí." And I was like, this isn't what I was asking for at all. Because I was saying that's a beautiful baby, not what's on tap. You know, I wasn't going like, what's... I still drank it. I still took the shot because what I'm going to do, say no? I'm not going to be rude, you know? And now I speak fluent Spanish. That's how that works. Yo quiero más leche, you know?
Welcome to the third act, everyone. You are talking to three experts in the field when it comes to third acts. We're the top in the nation at doing the third act of any podcast.
Best there's ever been.
Best there's ever been. There's an expertise that oozes out of us in this third act that I think you can hear every single time. Ben,
a real quick too.
Please wipe it up.
I want to just one more time give a big thanks to Richard V. And your wife, and thanks for writing in, for giving us the question, and for letting us talk at you about it. And congratulations again to you both. We're all very excited for you, and please keep us posted on how it's going. We'd love to hear. Adam, I would like to ask you, because I think I know that you finally have some good fucking news, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. I want to bring up some good news that I read about just now. Seems like all my good news is baseball related, so that's kind of a fun little corner for me to be in. But my the Rockies play-by-play, well, she's in the broadcast team, Jenny Kavnar. She's not the main person, but she's been helping do color commentary and taking the reins a few times for the Rockies over the years. Great broadcaster with the Rockies organization. She just got hired by the Oakland A's, who I think are going to Las Vegas, not finished yet, but by the Oakland Athletics, to be the first full-time woman play-by-play commentator in MLB history. So I know Jenny. I'm friends with her. I'm a fan of her. She's really good at what she does, and she's the first woman full-time play-by-play announcer in Major League history for the Oakland Athletics. And so that is not only good news, but awesome for her and just all of us. So congrats, Jenny.
Baseball in general.
Very
That's
excited.
great news.
It is very good news, and I do not know Jenny. I've not met Jenny.
She asked not to meet you.
Yeah, we follow each other on the socials, but I will second what Adam has said, and to add on top of that, Jenny has always been an amazing voice and has an amazing knowledge of the game of baseball a huge, great acquisition for the Oakland Athletics.
The
It's
Rockies
fucking
have
awesome.
have fountains in their outfield. She coined when they hit a home run, fire up the fountains. It's pretty
Yeah,
good.
I
Because they
love
shoot
that
water
shit.
out when people hit home runs. That's a good call. That's a
Yeah.
good play call right there.
It is. Fire up the fountains, touch them all. There was also who
Touch
was it,
them all
Drew?
times, Drew Goodman. That's
Drew
his,
Goodman,
but
touch
she's-
them all time.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I love Fire Up the Fountains. It's phonetic. It's nice. Congratulations, Jenny.
Good luck out there.
Yeah, you're going to crush it. Andrew, how's your voice? How are you feeling? Clear the throat. Give us to it. Give us it.
La 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 la
There it
la.
is.
Okay, I think I'm
Here we
ready.
go.
Plugs, 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 plugs.
I'm doing a shoulder dance. Plugs.
I like
plugs,
it.
plugs. Hey,
What you got? What you got,
I
man?
got
What
a
you got?
plug. I am going to be headlining Denver Comedy Underground. March 1st and 2nd, Friday 2 shows, Saturday 2 shows. You can get your tickets now. Do it, Adam. What about you? Do you have something?
I am continuing to run my one-man show, Happy Place. I just did it for the first time in a while. It went great. Everybody came out. It was very nice. Thank you. I'm doing it again, Chaos Bloom, March 14th, that great little black box on South Broadway. So get tickets to that because it's a tiny space, and I'd love to see you out there as I continue to tweak this one-man
Adam,
show that I'm
going to
very
interject
into.
in here. I just want to come into this
Yeah.
and say that if you're listening to this and you have not seen Adam's show, Happy Place, you have to go see it. It is beautiful and poignant and funny and sad and all of the things. You
And-
have to go see it.
And even if you have seen it, I believe it has some tweaks, right? This is kind of like version 2.0.
Yeah, I am changing a lot of things about it, and it really went well the other day. Thank you, Ben. And it's really affecting people, and I love where it's going. So I'm continuing to fine tune, and it's going in a good direction. So yes, please come out.
Hell
Please
yeah.
Go see it.
And if you're in Denver or are going to be in Denver, March 30th, the last Saturday of the month, of course, we have our regular Grawlix live show at the amazing Bug Theater. We're bringing in Mav Viola to headline, and we also have local Denver crusher Ali Kareem. It's going to be great. These shows have been selling out, so grab the ticket link in the show notes so you're not left out in the cold.
That's right. As always, our show is brought to you by our lovely producer, Ron. That's Ronnie D, Ron Doyle, a.k.a. the Big Ron D, the RD, the RX, the provider of all the pills. You know him. He's the one that keeps us sedated and ready to rock. Also, big shout out to Mike Henderson for your help recording at our live show. The theme music, as always, brought to you.
Oh,
Theme music
you were in
as-
the pocket. You were in the pocket.
Too fast.
Yeah.
I was going too
You
fast.
gained
I
too
was
much
trying to do a-
speed around the curve.
I was trying to do my
Prescription riffing.
national public radio
The
version of it.
prescription riffing was just too much, but keep going. Keep going.
As always, our theme music is brought to you by my very best friend and one of the best people on the planet, Charlie Continental. I love you, Chuck. You can also follow us on social media and anywhere on socials at Grawlix Comedy. And you can support us and get ad-free episodes and all kinds of other perks on Patreon, patreon.com/Grawlix Saves. And what are we going to do for the next
I
challenge,
will
y'all?
straight up tell you what we're going to do. We are
What?
digging back into screen time, phone addiction. We have updates. It's been a ride. We're going to talk about it more. The episode that just can't seem to quit because someone can't quit the problem. We will be chatting about it more.
The episode, wait, you just missed it. I'm a singer. I'm a poet. The episode you can't seem to quit because he can't quit the screen. Boom. That's it. Fuck you all. Play us out, Charlie.
Are there any heroes left at all? A few strong souls that pick us up when we fall down. We looked around for those rare kinds of folks, but the best we did was these dumb jokes that tell big jokes. We're getting fixed, our worries are nixed. Let's have some kick while the Grawlix says we're getting fixed. Our worries are
I don't think it was good enough to mic drop like that. But
Yeah, I was kind of surprised. I hope you didn't damage your headphones. With
I
that.
think I did break a earpiece.
Yeah.